Okay, so it's weird. I wanted to make a video. I wanted to talk about my week, and then I couldn't seem to get it. Like, I couldn't put it into an organized paragraph. Couldn't get the words out of my mouth, and so I decided I was just going to give up and maybe try it again tomorrow. So I was leaving the gym, and I went to pull out on the street, and it's raining, so it's kind of hard to see. And there's, cars going by. So I was like, instead of just pulling out and making a right here, I'll actually just circle around and go back out over there where there's a light. And that way, then I can just go when the light's green. And I thought, boy, that's not being very purposeful or deliberate, that is being not mindful of anything. It's trying to be mindless. That was me trying to be mindless. Like, hey, I don't want to have to even look for cars and pull out when it's safe to do so. I'd rather stay in this humdrum blur of I was listening to an audiobook, right? But so I'm like, I don't even want to tune out of this audiobook. And the thing about the audiobook was it was about self-discipline and self-control. And it said, until you start focusing and being deliberate on your life, you're not going to have self-discipline. You're not going to have any self-control, right? You have no control of yourself if you have no reason to. But it said, as you become more deliberate and active, like taking an active role in doing what you're doing, then you'll have better self-control. And I thought, they're making things nowadays to where we don't have to take control of ourselves. We don't have to take control of our minds. The cars are becoming self-driving, right? So they're getting us little by little by little so that we don't have to take an active role in our lives, in our decisions at all. We just, if you want to know what to think about something, like, so the big beautiful bill, these guys said this and these guys said this. And then if I wanted to actually take an active role, I can either just listen to the news, right? I think it's already passed. This is, old stuff, but it's the example I have, like back in the day, it'd be like Prop 86, vote no on Prop 86. And, you could ask artificial intelligence, what is Prop 86? But is that really what it is? Do you know that? Like, would Grok and would ChatGPT give you the same answer? Would Google? So, you should really, if you want to know, you should go read Prop 86. You should go read the big beautiful bill. Now, I understand that stuff's super, super long, but we all just want the shortcut. And we don't want to have to use our minds to think of what we think of something. We just want to know what it's all about and what everybody else thinks. So, anyway, I ran 4 miles this week. I don't know, did I tell you I was just going to jump right into this? Oh yeah, but told you that I decided I'm going to take a more active role in my life. I'm going to be a little more deliberate right from now on. The main story I was trying to get out was about how Cooper was born. Because I had a friend say to me one day when I was telling somebody else the story, right? The whole backstory of the little drama queen that is Cooper. And Michael Grajetsky, shout out, good friend of mine, he said, how come I didn't know this? Because, we were hanging out like a lot that year, that summer, and he didn't know anything was wrong or going on. And it was because I didn't want, we didn't want people's sympathies. But anyway, I wanted to tell that story. But at a minimum, I've got to tell you that I ran 4 miles. So I did 2 miles on Tuesday. No. 2 miles on Wednesday. And I ran those two, I shaved another minute off. Like, I was going to try and run really hard. And so I shaved a minute off. But then I ran it again on Friday and I added a minute. So, but I did run my 4 miles. And then part of the other thing I was thinking about with being deliberate is, I thought by recording this, but it's making sure that I do it. And so I was also listening to the thing he's talking about, like in taking an active role in your life, start writing this stuff down. Well, am I going to write it down and tell you? It just seems a bit redundant, doesn't it? So I but I should, and that way I can just look at it and be like, okay, 3, 3, 3, 5, 5, 2, 2. No, I haven't run 2 yet, but you know how many miles I've run, and so it'll be accurate instead of having to go back and look at all these videos. But anyway, you got to take an active, deliberate role in your life, and so I am going to, you know, be putting this video out. And then it's like, what is your long-term goal? Well, my long-term goal is to tell stories, you know. So I want Cooper to know what a little drama queen he was. You know, like I could tell my brothers and sisters stories about when they were born. You know, I would like to. I would like to tell them how I waited up half the night and then David was born. And I was like, really? Another boy. So then I wait with Reagan. I didn't even find out what she was till the next day. I just was like over it. I was like, I've been waiting, because it goes my older brother Jordan, and then my mom and dad wanted a boy and a girl. They had me. So then they had 2 boys. So my mom wanted 2 boys and 2 girls. Well, we had a little girl. She passed away, and then had another little boy, and that was I guess a miscarriage, pretty late term miscarriage, and then my brother John. Well, then I was excited to have a little sibling, but then my little brother Jack, and I was still excited to have another sibling, and then I waited up half the night because they were really struggling to get this next kid out. He was 10 pounds 11 ounces and 90% head. So but you know, it's mom. That was first time I ever saw my mom drink alcohol, and she drank alcohol and castor oil, and that big bowling ball head came sliding out of there. I don't know. I went to bed. I was like, I'm not even waiting up. Or no, I did wait up for that one, but obviously I wasn't watching what was going on there. It's my mother. Gross. I mean, even with my first wife, I was like, I'm not watching that shit. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not looking at that. But then with my current wife, I don't think I'll tell you that story. It's okay. I'll tell you the story, but I won't tell you that part of the story. But anyway, yeah. When I started thinking about it, saying that when you with the self-discipline, right? Am I kind of all over the map? Yeah. Well, that's fine. But they're talking about being deliberate and writing stuff down. I was writing down the food I was eating back in the day. When I was at my peak, I was writing down the food that I was eating. Now, what I think to myself is, well, I don't need to write it down. I just need to do the stuff. I don't think you'll do the stuff without writing it down. And I told myself, like, oh, when you're in great shape like that, you don't even want chicken fingers. You know, you don't even want chicken wings, buffalo wings. Yeah, those. You know, like you wouldn't eat a cheeseburger. You're happy with a chicken salad. And that's not, well, I mean, that might be true, but I believe it's the level of self-discipline and level of self-control you have when you're writing everything down. You know, right now, I don't know if it would be because it would keep me more accountable. You know, like 2 a.m., huge tablespoon of peanut butter. 4 a.m., huge tablespoon of peanut butter with drizzled honey on top. Well, I know I wasn't doing that before, so maybe if I started writing it down, I wouldn't do it because I don't want to write it down. But I still want chicken wings, and so I think that I'm just not at that level of self-control yet. Everything is hard. Oh, but I decided I'm looping around and I'm figuring out when the road's clear and I'm driving out of here and I'm going home, going to the gym. I did do my check-in, right? Did I tell you that I scheduled another 5K? I won't have run it by the time we talk again. We tried to go ice skating today. Jamie got in a car wreck. Right? There's a lot. So I'll explain all that in another video. But I got to get something out there.